Oh, good golly gosh, we're here. Hello. How we're doing? So listen to that podcast and boys are fine. It's great. It's me. I'm sorry to have gotten your hopes up, but it's me. Beep beep. Can scroll wheel on this. Yeah. Welcome. How we all doing? We having a good time? Glad it's me. Well, you know. 1 out of 2 ain't bad. How goes? Munching chocolate buttons! What a time to be alive. So I can't complain. Well, that's just a lack of imagination. Am I? I'm fine. Plodding along, plodding through. Excited to see where this story goes. Possibly, people have said we might finish it today. Maybe? Don't know. Hence the question mark. And also the fact that I spelled Emmed. It's fine. Like Emma, but Ema. Eamed? Eamed. Could complain about things, but you shan't, for the mystery. But enough anxiety because of email stuff. Oh, boo. Boo email stuff. But yay, we're back to the Ace Attorneys. Quick recap of what's happened so far. We're still defending the lead prosecutor, on behalf of her sister. However, in the process of doing so, we have managed to prove that her sister is a murderer. Kind of. Well, accidentally. Yes, Lana Skye. We're defending Lana Skye on behalf of Emma Skye, and we have discovered that Emma accidentally killed someone in a case a couple of years ago. And the reason Lana Skye was taking the fall for the murder that took place recently was to protect that, to stop that information coming out. Because they knew if they looked into it, the person who was murdered was looking into that case to get to the truth of it, and they were murdered to stop them doing so. And they knew that if we looked into this case, they would find that out and go back to the previous case and so on and so forth. Maybe. There's also a bit of blackmail going on. What with Gant blackmailing her to retrieve the body or whatever, and discovered that upon opening Edgeworth's trunk when it arrived, discovered that the murder weapon for the previous murder case was in the body. And so she went, well, screw that, stuffed it up the exhaust pipe of the car, grabbed another knife that was inside the car and stabbed the body with that knife to again, try and stop people looking at the previous case. Unfortunately, somebody saw her doing that stabbing and thought, well, she killed him. Seems reasonable, frankly. Well, Rip Emma, it was nice knowing you. Go face justice. Goodbye, see you later. But yeah, it was an accident, to be fair. Emma, she was 13, I guess, at that point. 13-year-old just in an office while her sister was doing work, and then in barged a serial killer, quote, serial, unquote, killer. Hiding, took a hostage, a policeman came in, they had a fight. She saw somebody holding a knife up, and with a flash of lightning because the power went off, so she saw this silhouette of somebody holding a knife up, ran towards them, pushed them over, and then they got impaled on a sword on a suit of armor. It turns out that wasn't the serial killer, that was the policeman. So he accidentally ran into the knife. He ran into my knife 10 times. He had it coming. Just a normal emergency knife for your car. Look, if Edgeworth wants an emergency knife, he can have an emergency knife. I'm not going to stop him. But yes, now we've done that, we've also worked out a bunch of shady stuff going on with Gant, and I think the next stage is to basically try and prove that Gant did a bunch of stuff, including murdering the guy and stuffing him in the trunk, and also covering up for the previous murder because they couldn't get the previous serial killer on any evidence. But when they walked into this room and discovered that the policeman had been killed, they were like, well, we can pin him with that, I guess. So falsifying evidence and all that. But yeah, we'll see. We have to prove things. We have to talk about things. I'm sure there are more twists coming. Everyone's smiling in chat. We'll find out. Rise from the ashes. Said what you said. Yeah, stuffing him up the exhaust. Well, we've fully been over his desk jockey activities.
Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, Your Honor?
The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions.
Thank you for the news, Your Honor.
Rises from that, so smart is Phoenix. Oh, that's what the ashes referred to. Anyway.
Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. But, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have,
Struck a bargain?
What?
You think I may have manipulated the witnesses?
I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone's been talking and...
Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution.
A solution?
That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses.
What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing.
Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with witnesses.
Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say?
I mean, to be fair, we are trying to prove the same thing. We are kind of in the same ballpark here. But Phoenix considers this unbelievable. So, then again, it's Phoenix we're talking about. Edgeworth's found a way to continue the trial. Very well, the defense accepts the prosecution's proposal.
Then it's settled. The, defense may now call forth the Wex Nitness.
Sure, why not?
Mr. Wright,
Huh?
you do realize that this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over.
Can I save? The defense calls the save button. Also, this time we're going to keep track of whether I'm saving or loading. The time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Oh, it's Gant. That's fairly easy, right? I mean, he was... Yeah, it's Gant. It was his ID card that was used to go into the evidence room where we presumed the person got killed because there was a hell of a lot more blood than can be explained. It was before Edgeworth left, and so he got stuffed in the trunk of the car and all that sort of stuff. So I knew this Gant, right? It's the guy with demon in the name, even though not demon in the name. It's hidden. There's a hidden E. There's the E in age. There it is. That's what I'm going with anyway. Take that! Bang! Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand.
Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything?
As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it.
As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor?
True. All right, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand.
Yeah, he has all sevens. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Shut up, Edge. Look, he's defending his honor here, it's fine.
Witness, please state your name and occupation.
Also, Edgeworth's whole deal here is basically everybody's trying to pin him for falsifying evidence, when all he did was use the evidence he was given, which turns out to be falsified and or obscured by Gant. So, he's trying to, like, clear his own name during this trial. When are we not trying to pin him? In court. That is, that's, you know... We leave that for the desk.
What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch.
Your name and occupation, sir.
Worthy, are you sure you want to do this?
Your name and occupation.
He was confident. Much of an idiot as Phoenix is, that he didn't look at the back of the evidence list. To be fair, neither did I. So, until just when we needed it. Desks in court. That's stands, not desks.
So, you want to play hardball, huh? But please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police.
Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony.
Oh, righto. What's with the grim face?
First, let's clear up this SL9 incident.
No, you mean that time when Lanner's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already.
There are still some things unaccounted for.
Oh, like what?
Like the role you played in all of this.
Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal.
Weapons?
Sure, take my testimony for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to.
What? Is that true?
I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify.
Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks.
Ah, don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony.
Bullshit, I mean objection. It'd be great if that just happens once. And it's Edgeworth. SL9 incident.
As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lanner there. Apparently, she'd already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery.
Incorrect.
Is that when Doc was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious.
He got stabbed. By Emma.
When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Doc bumped his head.
Doc was the serial killer, by the way.
I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut.
If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I better hit him hard and fast. You what? Does that mean I'm gonna get... I'm gonna get criticized for investigating? Or is he just gonna shut up?
As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. Explain!
As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day.
Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic.
There's the thing, there's the knife that he was holding when the attack happened, there's a vase that got broken with a shard of it in his safe, which is a bit suspicious.
After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that.
Was the defendant Lana Skye also present in the room?
I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either.
Long story short, yeah, a bit more information. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right?
That's right, but Dark made into the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky.
What's this about a power outage?
Oh, that! The elevator stopped all of a sudden, and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil when that knife went into his heart, though.
That's not funny.
When I went to my office, I found Lana there.
Could you tell us what you saw?
It was a shocking sight.
Yeah.
Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap together on the floor, all tangled together.
Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor?
Yes, apparently he hit his head and he was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls.
Lana and Emma.
Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Apparently, she'd already arranged the crime scene.
Bang! How can you know that?
Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved.
So that means you found the body near Lana's desk.
That's right. I think you said earlier it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor.
Yes.
Anyway, as you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery.
So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable, no matter what the circumstances.
Is that how it really went down?
Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, stare at me. You'd be better off staring at the court record.
Worthy, always the smooth talker.
But which piece of evidence ties Gantz to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gant with the incident, to the incident, around the incident. Power outage, and Lana there had already arranged the crime scene, did nothing to do with the forgery. Right, what do we have? We have Goodman's ID, the trophy, which is, don't think relevant to that. Oh, we got this, Blue Badger, finally used Blue Badger. That's a 9, card, crime photo, shoe of the victim, switchblade knife, luminol testing fluid, ID card, which will come up later. Fingerprinting set, screwdriver. I can't remember why he wanted Edgeworth to take this, but there was definitely some sort of distraction. Was it to place him at the scene of the, quote, crime, unquote, in the evidence room? I don't know. Lost item report, floor plans, rumbly-glub. Rumbly-glump. Unstable jar, final fragment found in Chief Gant's safe. That is probably quite obvious. But who knows? It's this game. Files for the Joe Dark killings. Let's have a look at these. Serial murder, sentence death, killed a bunch of people, including Neil Marshall. Prosecutor was Miles Edgeworth. Lana and Emma were the witnesses. Executive investigators Gant and Lana Sky. Head investigator Bruce Goodman. Investigators Jake Marshall, Angel Star. Nothing major. Neil's autopsy report. Stabbed in the back, died from a punctured heart and lung. A knife tip was in the wound. That's the interesting thing. The knife tip was in the wound because he got stabbed with. Well, there was a knife tip in the wound, and people were like, "Well, it couldn't have been stabbed with the knife from the statue because there wasn't a tip on that. It was already broken by design." So it must have been stabbed again, so somebody must have arranged all of this to be different, and etc. etc. We proved last time, stabbed through the back by suit of armor. Oh yes, this was the evidence list. 2 halves of an evidence list from the previous case, which we discovered on the back had been, this was Emma's drawn testimony at the time. On the left here we see what turned out to be the Marshall, the policeman, holding the blunt knife to presumably stab or whatever Dark on the floor. And this was a vase, which happens to look like the Blue Badger because games are silly. We also found this piece of cloth that we haven't used yet. It was in Chief Gant's safe, bearing evidence, and it bears Emma Sky's fingerprints. And again, it was found in his safe. We were also given this evidence law from Miss Sky. Forgot about this. explains the 2 rules of evidence law. I find this is adorable. I love it. Rules for submitting evidence. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Rule number 2, unregistered evidence must be relevant to the case on trial. Yeah. I don't know why this is important at the moment, but I'm sure it will come up. We have it in our inventory, which means we can point to it when somebody says something. I think that's a whole thing. Needs a whole book to explain 2 things. Look, you need to explain things to Phoenix very slowly. Right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a little save, cheeky little save, right here. And I'm going to present this, because we know this was smashed at the time of the murder and a piece of it was found in his safe. So that's my guess. Objection! You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example.
That's the blue badger you showed us earlier.
A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier, bang, was actually found inside your desk.
It was found where?
You see, Chief Camp, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office, bang, are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Indeed.
Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this? Oh! Here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy.
So you admit to it then? That you were involved in the forgery?
Who, me? Or do you mean you?
Me? Why would I have anything to do with that?
Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence.
Huh? See, I knew this would come back to him ever since the first bloody case. Keeps picking up evidence and not telling anyone about it.
Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto?
Objection.
However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation.
Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment.
What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, I'll end up paying to work.
Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and the relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put 2 and 2 together.
Evidence and forgery. For Jerry! Who's Jerry?
Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way.
Hey, oops, how you doing?
Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor.
When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I'm the chief of police, right? There will be consequences.
Ooh.
Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistakes again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. All right, Udgy. In return, though, I don't. That place, right?
Huh? What? One of these guys telepathic? What? Now we care about protocol for the first time ever. How you doing, Limbs? You having a good time? That place? So what's going on with these two then? Is the place the thing they're going to, or is the place somewhere on the body. Evidence and forgery.
For all I know, you could have planted them in my office.
I'd appreciate it if you stopped making these ridiculous allegations.
Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that.
What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped.
Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're gonna need it later.
Later? What are you talking about?
What else? I'm talking about when Righto's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal.
I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. And I've faced people who've punched me in the face and tased me.
Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered.
I mean, yes, I think we can. Kind of, sort of. We can prove that you took a piece of evidence earlier than, I don't know, can we prove that it was specifically before the investigation? The piece of the vase, right? We got the piece of the vase. Let me have a look at it. That's the wrong button. No, that is the right one. Whoops. Yes. Alright, check this. So we had this piece of the vase here, which still had all lines on it. The rest of it had been wiped clean, apart from a few dots here and there. So we know that the piece that was in the safe must have been taken before the rest of them were wiped clean. Whether or not that's relevant to what the game wants me to say, I don't know. But I'm gonna try it. Present. Unstable jar. Evidence clearly reveals. Okay, no. Thank you, loading system. I think my argument was pretty sound, no? We'll press, why not? What do you mean by that?
This is all purely hypothetical, of course, but suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery.
Bang. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery.
I'm not through speaking yet, Righto. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless.
Okay, now can we present that? Oops. Wrong, but I know buttons. Nope, okay, still not interested in that. That's fine. We'll press on this as well then. Hold it! Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation?
It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced.
Okay, there we go. Had to press to know why I couldn't do that. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient?
Right?
Huh?
The chief is talking about a possibility. So long as you can't rule that out, your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time.
Oh, tell me something I don't know. Literally all I have is to blag.
Come now, Righto, think about it. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery.
Do we have anything? Maybe, well, we're talking about evidence, right, and when it should be presented, so maybe we should bear in mind evidence law. No evidence should be shown without the approval of the police department. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. That doesn't really matter, because we're talking about evidence that hasn't been shown, and this is all about things that will be shown. I mean, there is a reason you participate in the forgery, is because you're trying to convict this guy and you have no evidence. But how can I explain that from what I have? You were the executive investigator of this particular crime. Well, we can have a bit more of a chat, see what happens. Bang! How can you look me in the eye and say that?
Because I'm innocent. Huh? Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here, but in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Scott. Well, now do you see? Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way.
Really, Chief Kent? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all this.
Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit?
That would, of course, be the position you have, Chief of Police.
Oh.
The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is a sufficient motive.
Ho, ho, ho! Oh, that's a good one.
Huh?
Do you really think I'm that incompetent?
What do you mean?
Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little.
Is that true, Edgeworth?
Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway.
Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at.
So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else.
Twiddle, twiddle, twiddle. Incompetent, no. Manipulative bastard, yes.
Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I.
That face.
There, it's out in the open now. Aji, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do. Yeah, I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice since there was nothing in it for me.
Nothing in it for you?
Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lada's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you better think again.
You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone.
Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised.
You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though.
Ho, ho, ho! Ho, ho! That's a good one, Worthy.
Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? No? Point out accomplice. I'm not entirely sure what's being asked here. There is something in it for him. Blackmail, which is why he has the fingerprints of Emma on the thing. But it's not helping someone out. I don't think blackmailing somebody is helping them out. Would he have helped someone out? No. Or point out accomplice. There is... It's not an accomplice. This is a false dichotomy. Helping out by having something over them. That's not helping them out. That's helping him out. I guess helping them out of not being accused of the murder, but again, also blackmailing them? I don't know. Okay, given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? I guess hiding the evidence to save Emma does help out Emma. But there is a reason he did it, which was selfishness. Yes, we're smarter and dumber than you are, yes. Did I save? I think I saved. Save again. I'm gonna go with point out accomplice. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone.
Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand.
That's not what I... Can we get a different judge? Can we get a different one? It's been 6 cases. No one's seen that this guy's a complete idiot.
Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence?
Lana? Who else was there? One of them was dead, one of them's getting thrown in jail. I guess it helped Emma, ultimately, but Lana was the accomplice that wanted the evidence to be forged. It technically helped them both, kind of, but it ended up with her being blackmailed and her becoming estranged. I guess Lana? Yeah, helped forge evidence. Helped Lana forge evidence. Emma was like unconscious or whatever. So I'm going to go with this as an active verb. I'm going with Lana, right? Yes. Take that!
Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky, the defendant?
I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Sky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for the Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. Bang! That reason, of course, is self-profit.
Self-profit? What do you mean?
After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Sky was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the Prosecutor's Office, despite being an investigator. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant.
Oh, would you look at that? But how would he profit from all this?
He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet.
Bang.
Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations.
Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets?
How are we doing on getting that new judge? Has that been sorted out yet? No?
Oh, wait.
Good. Everyone else thought the same thing.
You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind.
Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Sky in forging evidence. Your motive, to appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her.
Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something.
What?
Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing?
Lana? She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant.
I'm afraid that without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture.
Unless that is also what happened in this incident.
This incident? Which one would that be?
Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her.
Worthy, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean?
What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement.
What? Wait, what?
Bang, 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 bang.
Order! I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious.
Huh?
This is an affront to the highest-ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder. That's impossible.
Judge, your accent's going wild. What's happened? Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in an easier-to-understand language. Phoenix, come on! Rude.
Oh, it's too late, Mr. Wright.
Huh? Bang.
There's no turning back for us now.
It looks like he's the one who decided to go through with this.
Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? that the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder?
Good question.
Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell.
I see. All right, then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it had better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman.
I can't say. Right, well. Excellent. The evidence? Not the evidence list, the ID card record. Because we had ascertained, we checked this, we had ascertained that Miles Edgeworth went into the evidence room and saw nothing amiss and couldn't have committed the quote murder unquote in that room because 10 minutes elapsed between him going in and Meekins going in afterwards. Not enough time. And the only other person to go in there before then was 7777777, i.e. Gant. And he had 20 minutes, which is more time. Still seems quite tight, but, you know. So I'm going to go with that. I can't save, so we may have to skip some stuff if I'm wrong. But that's what I'm going with. Take that.
This is the ID card list.
Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the murder, the crime. There was one ID on the list that we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7777777.
Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number.
It's your number.
What? How do you know that?
The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code.
7 digits? You don't mean...
I'm afraid so, Your Honor, which is why I shook my head. The code was 7777777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Bang! What a coincidence. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. He's a bit grumpy. He's a little bit grumpy now. He's twitching.
Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations.
And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you. I will carry out the punishment myself in private. About the use of this ID card.
Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. What about it? I'm chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want.
Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone?
I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do the evidence room.
Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he?
Of course not. Why would he be? Now, I hadn't seen him in days.
You hadn't seen him? In days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. Bang. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. Bang.
What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt.
No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting?
Chief Gant, be so serious. I can't do that voice serious. I'm trying.
In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm gonna have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime.
Does the missing thing need to be... can only be submitted to the Chief of Police? It dated the 21st of February. Literally only thought about that. Did not twig that at all this whole time. I'm pretty sure that's important, so we'll go with that. Take that! Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. And just go a quick little save here because they keep making me do things I can't save before.
Or, to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it.
So, Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have to give that report to the chief of police.
Yet you're in possession of that report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it.
He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day.
He needed to?
Yes, to transfer the evidence out.
Oh,
Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room.
I accompanied him.
There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room.
Hold on, let me guess what you're gonna say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
But wait, the chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card.
Yes.
Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort.
Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body.
Wow, he got struck by lightning. Jeez. That was dramatic.
Chief Gant, you didn't.
The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? Yeah, to dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course.
You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there?
I was at the police department the entire day, you know.
And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony.
Yes, but it was in your car, Edgeworth. You moved. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal.
Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so.
Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time, I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space.
How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence.
To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. Edgeworth's car? This? Can't save again. Can't save. Been years since you last saw it, but you still love that. It's very dramatic. If I get Phoenix Wright as a style for October, I'm considering doing multiple sprites, one of them being struck by lightning. Okay, so my thought is ticket stub. Yeah, ticket stub, right? Parking stub. Miles Edgeworth. He got there 3 minutes before the body was apparently found. Case is mean with the not saving stuff near the end. It's fine. You're supposed to actually use this bar up the top, whereas I'm just like, oh, I got it wrong, did I? Reset. I don't know. I don't think this game is improved by having lives. That's just. I'm here for the story. Gosh darn it. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go with this. Take that. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body.
A parking stub. Miles Edgeworth.
You mean...
The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. There it is. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. Oh, that's why he asked him to go back to get the thing. Yeah, got it now.
You mean I carried the victim's body?
Precisely so.
But wait, even you know, I didn't plan on returning to my office after the ceremony finished that day.
Bang. But you did return. Tell me, why?
Hang on, there's the thing.
this is with the thing, and then we get this, and then I go.
I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here.
So you see, what you were really taking to the prosecutor's office wasn't a screwdriver, but the victim's body in your trunk. Bang.
Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car.
Yes, unless of course you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Ms. Lana Skye. Bang, bang, bang.
Order, order, order! What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations?
Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed into the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite.
It is a photo of the body being taken from the trunk.
Chief Gant, please say something. I believe your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Rido, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're gonna make it in time for the early bird special.
What the hell are you talking about? But the cross-examination isn't finished yet.
Remember what I told you earlier. A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal.
Weapons?
Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered.
Objection.
So, you're going to just run away after all this?
Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy.
Huh?
I stabbed old Goodman, that's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court would not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright?
Your Honor?
Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body.
Do I have any concrete proof? Of that? Not. We haven't yet used the cloth with Emma's fingerprints on it. Which would be the blackmail material, right? Maybe, kind of. But I don't know if that's conclusive evidence that he did that, specifically. Also evidence law. We still haven't used. Twitch! Where's Twitch being mean? Rude! Stop it. Again, we just haven't used this piece of cloth at all. Clear handprint can be seen on the leather cloth. The print belongs to Emma. I think I'll keep this information to myself. For how long, though? I don't know. I don't know what this game wants. So, given that I can save, I'm gonna say, yes, this cloth, and see what happens. I can't let him just squirm his way out of this. I've got to keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor. I do have such evidence. Bang.
Then please hurry up and present it. Just remember, it better prove Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Proved murder beyond a shadow of a doubt. Well, there is this. This was evidence in a previous case, so it had to have come from the evidence room, which he was in. And it was found at the scene of the crime. So it had to have been either transported with the body, or in the body, or so on and so forth. Lana could not have had this knife. No, Lana could not have gotten this knife from the evidence room, because she was never in the police station, which was previously ascertained. Again, whether or not the game is going to be happy with me doing that, I don't know. I think it makes more sense than this, which is just proof that he's kind of blackmailing. I'm gonna go with the knife and see what happens. Just try it out. I've got a life bar for a reason. That also saves. Take that!
So, what exactly is this evidence?
It's proof as to whether or not it's enough to demonstrate the chief's guilt. I'll let you be the judge. Literally.
But I am the judge.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, what do you think, Your Honor? No?
What I think, Mr. Wright, is I'm gonna be late for lunch.
Yeah, that's bad. He didn't like that. So we load. Because I have the powers of time. I'm gonna do some more evidence presenting. Bang. I won't save after this, just in case we. There's this. We haven't mentioned this, so let's try. This looks very similar. Yeah. Okay. So it's not that either. If indeed it is anything, I may have to choose that I don't have proof. But we'll keep giving it a go. Again, so long as I think I have a reason to do it, I don't mind trying. I'm not gonna try every option. This isn't an adventure game. Halberd was removed at Gant's behest. I don't think we've mentioned that yet. That's somewhat important, right? the thing that was found at the scene of the crime with the police chief trying to stab the serial killer was taken away from the thing by Gant. Have we mentioned that yet? Seems important. It's in a toolbox, traces of victim blood, no prints. Blue Badger again. This is in the trunk. I don't think that's proof. Parking lot floor plans. Blood. Gallons of the stuff. We also haven't mentioned, if I go to the floor plans of the evidence room, big old puddle of blood there. We haven't mentioned that yet. That seems pretty important. Okay. Possibilities. This trophy has a little bit of guilt for Gant because it's kind of proof that he's covering up by not having this knife thing in there, but that's not really what we're talking about at the moment. We're trying to prove that he murdered the person, not that he covered up the investigation. we still haven't explained the massive puddle of blood in the evidence room, which we know he was in and has no explanation for at all at this point. You can try that, maybe? Take that! Proof. You be the judge. I'm the judge. Late for lunch. Yeah, okay. Bloody hell. Hang on. Just out of interest. Let's carry this on. Guess it wasn't enough. Please, Your Honor, give me just a little longer to consider.
I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gann is the current chief of police. His court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright?
Yeah, Your Honor. Okay, so he's giving me another chance. This is not a story beat that I have to fail. Or have to go for the option that is not. Oh, but he is giving me this choice again. Which I can just hop back to previously with life. Because I can cheese games, it's fine. Also, the music's different. What happens if we say that we have no proof? Does Miles hop in and do something nice? It's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence.
CRG. In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief.
Well, yeah, okay, that thing.
Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, RG, I'll leave the rest to you.
Shoosh. And he was never seen again. So this is like bad end, I guess.
I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer of our nation's law enforcement agency.
Were you not listening to any of the rest of the case? Objection! No, Edgeworth's here. Maybe not. Haha.
Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her.
No, Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean?
There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony.
Not a bad end. It was a fake out. Haha. Lady who knows the truth. Another witness.
In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony.
But Chief Gantz invoked his right to refuse to testify.
There's still someone else. I mentioned a lady, Phoenix. Pay attention. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room.
Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person?
Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling the witnesses today.
Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist?
She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor, the defense calls forth Lana Sky. Presumably. Take that.
The defendant, Ms. Lana Sky?
She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task to dispose of the victim's body. Bang. In accordance with a certain someone's orders.
Mr. Edgeworth?
The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor.
Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in writ...
Hold on.
Huh? Chief Gant, I thought you were gonna eat. Listen good, Lana.
He's talking to Lana.
I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder.
This isn't good.
Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. All right then. I've got a lunch date to meet.
Yeah, say that out loud in court.
Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess.
I mean, the only thing I'm thinking, right, is if we show Lana the cloth we have with Emma's handprint on it that he doesn't have anymore, does she have blackmail? Can he blackmail if we have the stuff in his safe? February 25th, 1204, District Court Defendant Lobby number 2.
It looks like we managed to stay in the game.
Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth.
That Chief. He's someone else, eh, pals?
There, Detective Gumshoe.
I'm not a detective anymore.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
Nah, don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office.
What? My office?
Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with.
Could he mean Maya?
Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How does he always get the upper hand? How is it he always gets the upper hand?
It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify.
Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said.
But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked.
Oh, sorry.
That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered.
Risks? What do you mean by that?
It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds to be true.
You mean he forfeits his right to say anything, too? Emma? Yeah. Emma, you okay? Bad luck, miss. Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. Oh, so she's heard everything that's been going on. Emma, sorry for what I said before. Don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Oh, yeah. Literally go to school. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me.
Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her.
What do you mean?
What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything that the chief told her to do.
Yeah, that must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall.
Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal.
What? Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see.
Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act.
Emma, why don't you wait? No, I'm going with you. Manslaughter at best, exactly, right? Huh? I literally didn't even know who it was. Just pushed them away, not knowing there was a knife there. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth.
Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this.
Oh, boo-hoo. To be continued. Now! We're finishing this. Boom. Go. And then day 4 pops up. Down, 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 down. Save. Boom. February 25th, 2:21 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. Bang.
Now then, will the defendant, Ms. Lana Sky, please take the stand?
What exactly is Gant doing while this is all happening? This is what I'm worried about.
Ms. Lana Sky, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you.
But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years.
Please provide the court with your testimony, Ms. Sky. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth, and the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, etc.
Of course, the truth.
Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister.
That is factually accurate.
Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant.
Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. Witness testimony. Gant and the fabrication.
I worked alongside Gant for years. There is no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma.
Well, we have that cloth, so...
Are you sure about this testimony?
Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure.
But Lana! Always the funniest bit of the oath. I know the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth is an important distinction. If you don't have the whole truth, you can be selective with the truth. And if you do nothing but the truth, then you also lie. You know, just because you're telling the truth doesn't mean you're not also lying.
If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this.
That's what I've been telling you from the beginning.
Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. But what if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Huh? Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself, I guess.
The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I'm slightly drunk.
Gant and the fabrication.
I worked alongside Gant for years.
I don't think we need to press for that.
There is no truth to this blackmail theory.
Oh! Bang! But think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail.
You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with... I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself.
Again, things were found in his safe. Did you do so to help your sister?
Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life.
But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything.
That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep.
Oh, hang on, I think I know what's going on now. Yeah, okay, I've got it. We could have shown her the cloth.
That's why I couldn't forgive him.
Lana!
So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago.
When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene.
You say you did this all by yourself?
Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken Prosecutor Award knife was stuck in the victim's body.
Bang. What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident.
That's only a situation you dreamed was possible.
Huh? More bloody twists.
The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Doc? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Doc was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle.
That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up for lies with more lies. All just to protect me.
Bang. So, when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to.
Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body.
Hold! You planted the tip of Dark's knife there.
And then you moved the body.
Back.
But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders.
My head isn't that bad. Phoenix, please! Not in court. But maybe I ought to ask for the sake of others. Where'd you plant the knife? Well, why did you do that?
Come now, Mr. Wright, even you should be able to figure it out.
Right, well, I didn't get anything. Hello. Give me the other info. I want all the information. I am a time traveler. When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body?
It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. Well, the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple.
Bang.
Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body.
The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan.
Pieces of the jar, you mean?
Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened.
Ugh.
Neil Marshall was dead and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle.
I see.
What's the matter, Emma?
Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there's more to it than that.
There must be a contradiction here somewhere.
Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma.
Hold it. So you rearranged the crime scene. You sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer?
How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period.
You're so desperate to hide that fact. You're willing to risk the death sentence.
She's lying! She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There is nothing I can do to make up for my actions.
Mr. Wright, my sister's lying! It looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself.
There is no way she could have done it alone.
I've got to get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Okay, so we also want the other one as well, right? Look alongside again, the truth of the blackmail theory, fabricated evidence on myself, broke off the tip of the knife, moved the body, pieces of okay, so if we go with this one again. You planted the tip of the knife, you moved the body. Oh my god, we're all surprised by a thing we've already heard. Why did you plant the knife? Case has been going on for 84 years.
Come now, Mr. Wright, even you should be able to figure it out.
Very well, let's add this to the witness's testimony. The reason Miss Sky fabricated the knife.
I knew the tip of the weapon found buried in his body would be all the proof we needed.
According to your testimony, Prosecutor Marshall's broken knife was the murder weapon, right?
Yes, and leaving it at that might point the blame away from Dark. I felt the most effective way to get him convicted would be by having the tip of his knife found inside the victim's body.
So you buried it inside the victim's stab wound?
Yes, because I hated Dark for what he did.
Okay, so we just get one or the other. That's Goodman's autopsy report. Niels. Of these games I do, but the cases always last past it being peak enjoyable. Okay, so what's the contradiction then? I feel like the other one probably had more of a contradiction, right? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna do this again. Everyone's gonna be surprised again. Blah 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 blah. Why did you move the body? Can we keep this in the testimony? That would be nice.
pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan.
What did you... forgotten what you've said, because I've had to go through lots of things. So what are you saying in response to this? Pieces of the jar, you mean? Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. Thought it'd be more expedient to move the body. So when you first found the body, the jar was already shattered to pieces, blah, 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 blah. Il Marshall was dead and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. Yeah. More to it than that. There's a contradiction there somewhere. Oh, yeah, I'm an idiot. If it broke during the struggle, how did he write the name on it? Save. The Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister.
You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered?
If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life, bang, will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony.
A contradiction? In my testimony?
You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan."
That's right.
Do you have a problem with that?
But it's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on the jar with the victim's blood.
Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments.
Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies.
Huh?
In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Bang. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Bang.
Order! Order!
Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here.
Something critical?
Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth.
Very well. The witness now may begin her testimony. To continue her testimony.
Jar and a message in blood.
I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. But it was dark in the room, and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all.
Well, you didn't.
All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered.
So, Gant got there first.
You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood?
I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence.
Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Jar and the message in blood.
Immediately noticed the traces of blood in the jar, but it was dark in the room, didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. Fragments were so large, I'm sure I got them all.
But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that room.
Office. A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me.
Squeezy cat.
Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. I never miss anything. I got every last piece. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered.
Well, let's save. I'm going to shove the jar in your face again. Deception! Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you are unaware of.
What?
We found the final piece of the jar in Chief Gant's safe.
In the chief's safe? But how?
I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it.
But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off them.
Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. Bang. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. What's she got on her hand? Oh, that's a bandage.
But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece?
Objection. Bang. I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective.
That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Can you believe that?
Objection. Yes, Your Honor, we can all believe that. Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken.
Oh, that.
There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness.
I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Doc downstairs. Besides, even if he were there first, why would he break the jar?
Bang. The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Bang. Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that?
No! Wait. I'm not the one on trial here.
Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposefully hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called?
Fabrication of evidence.
But why would Chief Gant do that?
In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear?
What happened afterwards?
Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Doc, sparing Emma. And therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the Chief's puppet. No, I did it on my own.
Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake.
No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients.
Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client.
I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth.
Wait a minute. The judge is a fool. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap?
Is something wrong, Mr. Wright?
Lana may be right after all.
What do you mean, Mr. Wright?
So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Bang. Miss Skye, please testify once more.
But
if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie.
But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall.
Miss Skye, if you will.
I can't. There is nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw.
Bang! All right. God, this takes ages to get to this point. The witness may testify once more for the final time.
Actual crime scene. Actual crime scene.
When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor's sword.
Okay, that did happen.
Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent.
Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor's sword.
You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning.
What? It's me? Is it the duck?
It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed.
I don't remember receiving a picture like that.
Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture.
I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana.
Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right?
I seem to remember getting something from her then.
Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere.
Check evidence law. Don't think that's a picture of the scene of the crime. Is it? Probably not. Oh, now I can look at it. Again, I have the opportunity to look at this now. Evidence law. P.O. Look at the duck. Look at it. Look. Look at this one. Look at him. Look. Oh, okay. Now look at the duck. Aha! Once again, we are foiled by our inability to read. Hey, there's a picture here.
Oh my!
Oh.
This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything.
Found this picture, crime scene photo taken from the case 2 years ago.
Mr. Wright! That piece cut out from his vest! Could that be?
The cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe. Yeah. What's this? Oh, sorry. What's this?
This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth! It had fingerprints on it. Whose ever fingerprints those are, it must be the real murderer!
What? But those fingerprints... They're yours, Emma.
Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright?
Bang.
Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer.
Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
We're gonna prove she's the murderer again. Again, it's self-defense.
When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body.
I miss Maya. There, I said it.
Gant said that, apparently.
Come on now, RG. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen.
I am gonna take a clip of you saying that, miss. Just so you know. I'm assuming Maya comes back. She might not, I don't know.
Chief Gant. What? Now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense.
Objection. I'm afraid it's too late for that.
What?
You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort.
This must be that risk we were talking about earlier.
Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck.
Oh, edgy. He did just barge onto the stand. I imagine he knocked Lana over. Lightning.
Ah, so what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements.
What do you mean?
The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't, but someone does. Someone? So, what's your excuse, Righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over near Marshall, causing his death. Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. Is this true, Mr. Wright?
Bugger off, you Pokemon Professor wannabe. If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. Bang.
Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. And if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries.
What do I do now? I better think this through carefully. Can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? Knowing this game, yes. Chief evidence for something, but what bears Emma Sky's prints? Saving! I don't see how high... Well, show evidence. I'm going to click show evidence. Going to see what happens. Yes, Your Honor. I do have further evidence. All right! The time's finally come to show it to them. Those prints have got to be the Chief's.
Now then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall.
Can I show? I can show something else. I don't know what else I'm showing. Evidence law. I'm still... Show the badger for fun. Can do, I just saved. No, I can't show them that yet. Why not? You know which item to show.
Mr. Wright, if you're not sure, then think it through again. How can you use that evidence to your advantage?
No, I didn't do anything special. What I do now, but I think this through. Should I present a piece of evidence? Yes, okay. So we're gonna do it and then just see what happens. Do have further evidence, etc., etc. But it does also show that he was there before, because he has it. I don't know. We'll see, we'll see.
It's a piece of leather cloth.
Yes, it most likely was cut from the victim's vest near his chest.
What's this?
Oh. I have an idea, but we'll see.
There's a big handprint on it.
Surely it must have been left on the cloth by whoever shoved the victim into the sword. What? Whose fingerprints are on this? I'm sure Rido has checked, haven't you? Well, whose are they?
They're Ms. Skies. Ms. Emma Skies. What? They're mine? So he really did do it.
See, I told you it was conclusive.
Bang. But this was found in your safe. That means it's possible you forged it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember any cloth in my safe. Do you really expect me to believe that?
Bang. But
Give it up, Mr. Wright. It's over. You shouldn't have presented that... ... By presenting that evidence, you tied Emma Sky to Neil Marshall's death.
No.
It appears we have our killer.
No.
Silence.
No!
It's me going no. Bad end. Everything hinged on that. In the end, something he skips. Guilty. Cool. So that was the bad choice. Cool. Good to know. Boom. That's it. We're done. Continue. Try again. Okay. Cannot show evidence. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time.
What? You lie! Chief Gant, you opened my safe. I know you took what was inside.
The
conclusive evidence.
I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together.
Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. Bang.
What are you talking about, Chief Gant?
Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? Looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason.
You mean you had this in your safe?
What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is gonna be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto.
Sorry, I forgot what was happening. Wasn't it?
Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you all what really happened. What? You mean you admit it?
Why is that literally the dumbest person?
I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana.
So you really were manipulating her?
I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, then what she saw at the scene, she would ask me for my aid. When she saw the scene, I know words.
So you assisted Ms. Sky?
I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room.
And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dock convicted.
When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Alana arrived at the scene, mind you.
2 pieces of evidence. You mean those items in your safe?
But why? For insurance, of course.
Insurance.
I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging evidence? What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make the police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off the pieces.
Bang.
But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar, too?
Ho, ho, ho! Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance.
You mean that piece of cloth?
Come on, Righto, cough it up already. I know you have it.
What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit to it then, Chief Gant? That you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe?
Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer.
Just admitting to forging evidence and blackmail, yeah.
Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Righto. You should have just showed it then before it was too late.
Yeah, it's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. So, show evidence. In particular, the Book of Evidence Law, which mentions that I shouldn't have shown it if it wasn't relevant to the case. I don't know. It hasn't been officially sanctioned by the police. I just say, show evidence. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now.
All right then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall.
This.
Mr. Edgeworth, your opinion, please?
I think Mr. Wright's humor has improved at the expense of his defense.
Nah, I didn't want. Thought it might be fun. You remember that thing with the murderer's handprint on it, don't you? Okay, so we're doing it again. Try one more time. and this with a full health bar. We'll show now. This hasn't actually been brought up as something in the SL9 incident yet. This was just used to point out that the door was wedged open. Where did this come from? Let me have a check. Tag says SL911, another piece of evidence for that case. You know, we never did care for the word tag. It's confusing. We're in court. So confusing about it. Yeah, we've already had this conversation. I'm gonna present this, see what happens. I'm intrigued. It'd be interesting if Emma was wearing gloves or something. Okay, so that's not yet. I think it's gonna come back. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. No. Okay, let's do the thing the game wants me to. See what happens. Bang. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest.
Oh, yes! At last you finally brought it out into the open! There's a handprint on this piece of cloth.
Bang.
Your Honor, the prosecution requests that be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly.
You mean?
It could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence.
Ho ho ho! You're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy.
What?
Think about it. Rido had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be?
You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that.
Mr. Wright, do you really know?
Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they?
Did not. Very well. I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. Yeah, sure, you have a plan, Phoenix. The person whom these fingerprints belong to is... They belong to Emma Sky, right? Right? Why would I be given a choice then? Why would I be given a choice? Don't give me a choice when I don't know why. I said it should be okay.
Emma Sky?
What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me? Don't overthink it. I always overthink this game.
Oh ho ho ho! You're really something, Rido. You knew this girl did it all along, and you still try to pin the murder on me. So, it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death.
Hold it.
How could you? You monster!
Miss Sky.
You knew those fingerprints were on there all along, yet you acted like she really didn't.
This guy, it's not over yet.
What?
I said this trial isn't over yet.
Ah, but I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? A cat got your tongue? Aren't you gonna tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer?
Before I do that, just one little thing I have to clear up.
Oh, and what's that?
Who really killed Prosecutor Near Marshall?
What?
Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask?
It was Emma Scott, wasn't it?
No, I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction.
What? A contradiction? What is this fool blabbing about?
I'm talking about a contradiction, one that proves who the real killer is. Bang, bang, bang.
Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth, why could it possibly contradict?
Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. The glove? The extremely thin rubber glove? I can't say bugger. There isn't a picture of Emma at the time. Emma doesn't have hands. That's the real thing. I'll go for the rubber glove, I guess. Maybe. I don't remember her ever saying she was wearing gloves. But I can't think of anything else that contradicts the cloth off the top of my head. We'll try it, and then we'll have to re-roll when I fail. Or just lose a bit of life, it's fine. Oh, I clicked the piece of cloth. Whoops. Bugger! I clicked the wrong thing. I'm a fool! Okay, I will load back, because that was just stupid. So let's just skip. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. Fine. Show the evidence. I do have evidence. It is this cloth. Take that! Yes. Oh, yeah, there was a piece of cloth. And oh, this is absolutely amazing. Oh, no, you knew the whole time that it was actually the little girl. Yes, I did. However, there's more to it than that, you'll see. Lana, please calm down. Oh, wait, no, you're not here yet. Get ahead, I'll go sleep. Have good sleep. Person who these fingerprints belong to is Emma Sky. Oh, no. Everybody's freaking out. What a time to be alive. Sorry if anyone's epileptic. Okay, save it. Okay, let's save it. So we don't have to do all that again. Here we go. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. Now let's try the glove. Actually click the glove this time. See if it works. Take that! No, okay, it doesn't. Now we'll reload. In a perfectly reasonable way. We reloaded previously because of a mistake that I made, and this is a reload because I'm cheating. Right, what could it possibly contradict? Piece of evidence that contradicts the cloth. Let me check that. Cheating! Now we're a real lawyer. Brain. I don't really know. What contradicts this cloth? The game is both smarter and more stupid than I am. Positioning? Oh, I feel very silly. Unless we are now going to invoke the I should not have presented this thing. No evidence should be shown without a permission. Unregistered evidence must be relevant to the case on trial. We didn't know what it was until now. So I can't possibly be accused of concealing it. I don't know, but that is not what we're trying to prove. We're trying to prove that somebody else murdered. We're not trying to defend ourselves here. Let me have a look at this again. I don't know. Check this again. Are all useful there. You want help? A little kick in the shins. That's how you help people, right? I'm seeing nothing. This is like me staring at a particularly silly connections. I mean, is there supposed to be blood on it? Yeah. There's no blood on it. Go with that, I guess. Fair. Okay, that seems to be the right thing. I kind of thought that, but then I thought, I don't know. This game's stupid. But in this case, it seems to be perfectly reasonable.
And what exactly is this supposed to be?
This is the picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. I mean, to be fair, the blood might have spread afterwards. See where the piece of his vest was cut out?
Yes. His shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though.
Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs, no doubt, were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth.
Oh, but that piece of cloth.
Don't bring logic into this, Crimson.
Wait, there's no blood on it.
I will. In my defense, I said blood just before Kiro posted. I probably wouldn't have followed that line of logic if Kiro hadn't confirmed it, but...
Ah!
Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. Bang. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time.
No, this is nonsense.
Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside.
He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out.
If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armor's sword?
Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it.
Remember what you admitted only moments ago. That you personally cut out this bloodless piece from the victim's vest. Ironic, isn't it? Though through the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. Lightning strike! It's finally all over. There we go. Got there and... Oh, bloody hell, bloody objection.
Oh, that was close, Rido. You almost had me.
Huh?
Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean, refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence.
Now I have a duck for this.
Order, order. What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Audrey, earlier old Rido here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Rido? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you?
Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point. Get ducked!
Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence.
Yeah, but that's not fair!
Oh, did you actually think you could best me in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son. I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth?
True, illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person, assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal.
Well, Mr. Wright?
The duck. It seems, at last, the time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived.
You didn't have a plan, Phoenix.
Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposely and illegally concealed this piece of cloth?
No, but I'm also saving because we've been through a lot since I last did. I did not. I admit I refused to present it at one point.
Aha! So the evidence is illegal.
Objection. Stop pretending you had a plan. He's getting better at bluffing. He's bluffing the audience. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant.
Huh?
It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't.
What do you mean you couldn't?
There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence.
No, Audrey, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward you can't really believe.
Objection.
There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not?
Very well, let us settle this once and for all. Earlier, you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now.
The duck! The duck! Save me, duck! Bang! This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. You know, the thing we're here to do.
What's this?
I've done my homework too, Chief, for once. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth. Nothing more.
What?
You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law.
Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department.
I found this piece of evidence myself inside your safe. Goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department.
Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial.
And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time, it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident.
What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and...
An objection. I'm an idiot and didn't find that picture till now. Sorry, but you can recall. When was that picture presented?
That was shown only a few moments ago.
No. He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless.
The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant.
You yourself confessed to a certain truth.
For once, I read a book. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest.
Oh, yes! No! Oh, no!
Oh yes, it was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence.
Bang.
Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth.
The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there's only one person who that could be. Damon Gant. The killer was you. He's gonna keep going. I can't go that long. And then he collapsed.
I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum! For 2 years, he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me.
Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty.
He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr, then convinced Bruce Goodman.
Detective Goodman?
Yeah, that's right.
Was it
If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth.
Oh, this is supposed to be.
Supposed to be like this. Please, you gotta help me.
Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit.
He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence.
Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden, he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman?
This guy hasn't had a voice yet.
Could you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered.
That's supposed to be in reverb, but that's fine.
He opened his evidence locker and he was taking the evidence out. He said,
It's not too late. I'm gonna hand all this over to Marshall.
well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it, that accursed knife.
Step, step.
I couldn't just pull it out.
Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime.
Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't realize my fatal mistake.
The bloody handprint. Detective Gumshoe's locker.
I used to be known as the crime computer, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it.
Then you put the body in my car.
I'm sorry, I couldn't think of another way to move the body. I broke into your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will.
It's my car.
Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how? How could you get Miss Sky involved in all of this?
Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out.
So, you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker?
I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take.
So, you left the jar, and the fragments, and the glove.
Yeah. Looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I gotta hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay.
Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that.
Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court?
Me?
You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what really takes to bring them down once you try and go it alone.
Stop listening to him, Edgy.
Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Aji. What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry, too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be, long ago. You were once a fine investigator and an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Aji. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Rhino here. And Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. I'm gonna get killed.
There are two things I want you to understand.
Yes?
First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky? You no longer have any reason to keep silent.
You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until today.
Bang.
So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered.
I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all of your trouble.
My. What high standards you have for a rookie.
Huh?
I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you just might make it to the top.
Smile. Just smile. She's happy now. My.
I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright.
Miss Sky, we're still in court. This is not the time.
And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. Yeah, it was nothing.
Liar. He's gonna cry about it in bed tonight.
I was worried that the pressure might break you, and yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it. I only did my job.
In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Sky,
Yes, Your Honor?
you are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for those crimes at a later date.
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling?
It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I've felt free of these heavy chains. I'm going to prison.
Get complimented, Edgeworth.
Well, this trial's gone on far too long already.
Oobs agrees.
Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky,
Not guilty. Hot milky, everybody. Hot milky. I love the anticlimax of this always ending in not guilty. We spend the entire time trying to prove someone did something, and it's not guilty. That's the winning thing. Confetti.
That is all. This court is adjourned.
February 25th, 5:03 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. I'm gonna save because I don't trust this game. At long last, it's finally over. Save. They're gonna throw something at me. Ring. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended.
I can see why Mia Thay thought so highly of you. Thay thought. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well.
She smiled! You know, I did my best too, but Lana didn't say a single word to me.
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals.
Bloody gumshoe.
Guess I am. I'll come back later.
Wait, detective, come back. Do you want a hug? Do you have something? Yeah, this is the same script.
You're doing this on purpose, ain't you? Making a detective run around while on duty. And to top it all off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding.
Oh, are you here because of my sister again?
Nope, not this time. I came today because of, you, pal.
Me?
That's right. I thought you'd like to, see someone.
Aha! Lana! Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know.
Well, I won't tell if you won't.
Emma, I owe you an apology.
It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it.
That day, 2 years ago.
Huh?
Was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess.
Sis?
I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake, but now I realize I was wrong.
Huh?
I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew.
But sis, you were only doing it for me.
No.
Huh?
I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you.
Sis.
I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry.
But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now.
You're happy?
Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have.
You know I'm going to prison, right? Oh, Emma.
Emma. Hug. Hug. Aw, hug. No one can change the past. She's very gingerly hugging with that hand. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move on to a brighter future. Prison. At least, that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe,
Me?
thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here.
I'm not hiding.
Where was he hiding?
I just came to say congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth.
Right, well, I'll be going now.
Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you.
It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my mistakes.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right.
You despise criminals, you can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try and go it alone.
I do despise criminals. I planned to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now.
But Edgeworth,
Who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor.
Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, and apparently everybody else that works with you, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said, in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with your husband, Mr. Wright, with Mr. Wright. And because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Sorry, I was eating crisps. What? Yeah, yes, absolutely. What is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Safe. Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. This picture that was given to us. Alright, we didn't, neither of us found this, right? Or True Love. Or The Blue Badger. This book on evidence law. What else was just given to us? The security video was given to us. This just cropped up in the trial. We didn't find this. I think that's what she means. Happiness as a team. The duck. I don't know. Was she in it? It's metaphorical. two parts of a whole, literally. Huh? Together, two halves. Two. Brain is not what my brain is shut down. It thinks the game's over. Evidence list. Oh, right. Teamwork. Get it. I got it. I forgot this was 2 bits. Because it's called evidence list, not lists. Thank you. Look. I personally think it's very appropriate that the lesson about teamwork was learned by you guys helping me. Have you learned a lesson from that? I hope you have. That's the picture I drew. Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. I'm gaming for 2.5 hours, you're doing fine. I haven't been gaming, I've just been talking. That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Bye. See you at home. Edgeworth! What will you do now? Stop calling me back. Well, whatever you do, just remember, you can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, right? But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you at home, in court. Farewell. Bye, Edgy. I'd better be going too. Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon. It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. The duck! I love the duck. The duck's great. Scientific investigation. It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. I will. More duck. Good end. And so another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Hug. Faith that their lives have only just begun. Only just begun. And as for me, there's 7 more games. I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. What are you doing here, Butts? Of course, Edgeworth was last. A journey to rediscover myself.
Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal.
Huh? What is it, detective?
There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this.
But I thought you said it was okay.
Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story.
Huh?
Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either.
Huh? Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side.
Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here is the one who'll be footing the bill.
Huh? What? Huh?
Nah, what, do you think I could afford it on my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal.
Huh? Well, thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it I suddenly feel like I want to scream?
Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay for it together?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on. Let's go. Objection. That was very silly. I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of something. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has been pretty much ended my days in the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. Applause, standing ovation. Takeshi Yamazaki. Kazuya Nuri. This is fun. This is a good game. I like this.
Yikes! I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalized you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easily.
He's got his job that pays 3 pennies an hour. But it's the job. And all the hugs he needs. From me, specifically. I know everyone's like, you know, oh, Edgeworth, baby girl, etc., but, you know. Oh god, this guy.
My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to security guard. My partner is keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them now. Someday I'm gonna make a detective. Yes, sir. This can be just like that dick. Then I can be just like that Dick Gumshoe.
3 whole pennies, I know. Yeah, I know everyone's like, oh, love Edgeworth, baby girl, etc., but Gumshoe's where it's at. Like, Edgeworth has got Phoenix, right? Gumshoe needs us. Do you count as a character? Are we gonna get, like, dialogue from you, or are you gonna break down? That was gonna happen. Now, there we go. Fair enough. We'll get haunted dreams, yeah. But yes, everybody draw your OCs hugging Gumshoe.
What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with something or other? Miss Star managed to sneak this into me. She's seeing one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. You even gave Bambino back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water?
Lady Gumshoe has the blue badger. Well, he had. She snuck in a knife, yes, apparently. In the lunch, presumably.
Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu, the Right Way lunch. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer's as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. Or sideways. Be unpleasant.
It keeps going. I'm not clicking or anything. This is just going fast on its own. So I keep missing parts of the lines. Hopefully we get the gist. Brandon Gay. Oh, it's not Pride Month anymore. Pooh.
I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing something or other for how many years? Well, anyway, I got another trial to get to, so I better be huh? Oh no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, I gotta go.
Bye. Nice chat. I wonder if there are any cases in the future games where we get a different judge. Just to make it much more awkward. An actively antagonistic judge. Oh god, you're here.
Ah!
Oh.
Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium.
Mr. Meyer, afternoon training is about to begin.
Coming! Well, see you around, Nick.
Better, Emma. Nothing like having a worse Maya to make you appreciate Maya. Mr. Edgeworth, Oh, let's go.
Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, I brought you your tea. What's going on?
Resignation. Letter of resignation. Oh no! Maybe he's gonna become a defense lawyer. Or an investigator. Or my assistant. Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. If you're going by train, be careful. I'm a little sad, but I'll be all right. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Is there something in it that you haven't noticed because you haven't opened it yet? Yeah, okay. Here we go. I've also just realized why we open it from the back. Oh, I click. Jump like that. Huh? If you surely do hate Emma and are interested in these games, Miss looks like she's in the investigations games. Okay. Oh, it's cute. No. It makes sense that she's in the investigations game. She wants to be an investigator, so. Well, there we are. Boom. Right to the start. Do we not get any bonus stuff? Like behind the scenes stuff, like with Ghost Trick? I guess not. Then in options, I suppose. Oh well. Well, one game down, 2 to go. But gonna take a bit of a break from Phoenix Wright. These streams are quite tiring. And I need to practice more voices. I need to practice independent voice and accent. I tend to associate certain voices with certain accents and vice versa. Can't think why, I know. So instead, we're going to take a little break for something chill. That something chill is Lies of P, which Miss gifted to me this morning. Because Miss is too generous, and also because apparently 90% of my streams are paid for by my friends. Lies of P, yeah! I'm very excited about that. Loving the aesthetic from what I've seen of the game, and apparently it is the best game that's like sort of not aping, but like the best game that's following the design philosophy of a From Software game that isn't a From Software game. So it's so pretty. It looks so pretty. I remember the only thing I remember really, apart from the design of like presumably Pinocchio, and like some of the environments and stuff, is I remember there's like a gang. And they have like masks on their heads, and one of them has a bucket with goggles. I love that. I don't know why. It looks so goofy. I love them. But we'll find out. We won't find out tomorrow, because tomorrow I am going to have a little chill stream where we will play, not Winx Thyrope, we will play Gartic Show. For those of you who don't know, I could have kept that music going if I'm going to keep talking. Yeah, I'll sort that out in a second. You're going to love the aesthetics, yeah! But I do have to, given that it's a modern game, I have to set up my 2-computer setup, and I have to remember how that works, so I'm not going to be able to do that for tomorrow. That's fine, it's a plan for a week's time. Just noticed the Thyrope name. Yeah, Winx Thyrope. It's an anagram of Phoenix Wright. But yes, we'll be playing Gartic Show. Basically, I'll spend 2 hours with a list of names of characters, both ours and those from popular culture, and I will have to draw the character in a minute in Gartic, and you guys in chat can guess who it is that I'm trying to draw. And whoever gets it right first wins and gets points. And there's a little leaderboard. It's a cool system. It's fun. So if you want to come along, is that chill? It's chiller than this. I can laugh at how badly I try and draw Sonic from memory. Like, I don't know. It's gonna be awful. It's gonna be great. But yeah, so I will have to go off and make a list of characters, I think. But yeah, I think it'll be a nice time. But also, like, you know, I did consider this because one of my general is Horm's Chariot, one of the characters. I will put Executioner's Chariot in the list if you want me to. But a bunch of Dark Souls bosses or whatever, but that one in particular. Ernstern as well, just for fairness. But yeah, I did consider, because one of my general rules for streaming is you should probably, you know, only do things that don't absolutely require audience participation. Because it's no fun me standing here expecting you guys to do something when you just came here to have a chill. However, even if nobody votes on what I'm drawing in that stream, it's still just going to be a fun challenge of me trying to draw things from memory quickly with bad drawing tools. So I think it'll be fun anyway. You do need to be exact with your guesses. Yes, I need to come up with names that are going to be likely the thing you write in chat. Because you do have to be letter perfect. I was watching Barry play this. By the way, just as an aside, I keep mentioning Barry when talking about streams. When I say Barry, I mean twitch.tv/Barry. That is his name, and that is also his handle. It sounds like I'm just being informal, but I'm not. Thoroughly recommend it. Barry Kramer, formerly of Game Grumps. Lovely guy. Great streamer. But he was playing it, and he was doing, like, drawing the covers of games and seeing if chat could guess what it was from the cover. And quite often the name of the game would not fit in the 12-character limit or whatever it was that Gartic has. And so he would just come up with this abbreviated monstrosity that people had to try and guess. It was very silly. So yeah. Yeah, interesting. Seems fun. I don't know, we'll find out tomorrow with that. And then Thursday morning we will continue with the designing July, who so far seems very sweet, and I want to hug them. Ended up having to mess it up on purpose too, because he just wanted to draw and people kept guessing too soon. That's the thing with having an audience of, like, you know, several hundred people all guessing at the same time. I think we'll be alright. I think we'll be fine. People aren't gonna, you know... What was the one where he accidentally showed it on stream? It was like, okay, I'll do that one later, and this moment he started drawing. Boom. That's a fun stream. You should also watch that one. That was good. But yeah. Thank you very much. Well, a couple of thank yous. Thank you very much for watching and having fun and enjoying, hopefully, these Phoenix Wright games. We will continue with these at some point in the near future. Maybe after... Do you reckon we could squeeze one in? I mean, it depends how long Lies of P is, and probably I'll play another game after that. Maybe we could squeeze in another one before spooky season? I don't know. But yeah, we will play more. Thank you again to Ragdoll for buying this game for me. Because again, my friends are way too generous and I need to start earning money so I can buy them things. But yeah, I hope you have a lovely time. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you all around for whatever you do next. Go out into the world and hold Edgeworth in your heart. For some reason, I don't know. He probably just needs it. Really, it's nothing to do with you. It's just he needs it. Thanks for the courtroom love story drama. Yeah, thank you very much for introducing this to me, because I knew nothing prior to playing. Always the best way to go into a game. Yeah, have a good one, everybody. Look after yourselves. Goodbye, bye, 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 bye.